Thank you so much. So I'm gonna be kind of in the same vein, moving into kind of a different direction. I'm gonna be talking about mental health. We've kind of touched on it already with everything that is going on. I know there are people who feel affected. They feel anxiety. They feel depression. There are people who feel like they are in a hole. This is okay and this is normal. During high school, I didn't think much of my mental health, good or bad. Even when I felt my first heartbreak, my mental well-being never crossed my mind. That was the first time I cut myself. It was barely a scratch, but I knew what I had done. I grew increasingly inward, lost too much weight, passed up opportunities to be with my friends. I was depressed. Eventually, I got over it, but it was as if I ripped off a scab. I felt raw. I learned to smother my feelings quickly rather than face them head on. When asked how my day was, it was great, good, or fine. When asked how I was feeling, it was great, good, or fine. In my first year of college, I fell into the same cycle. I quit track, I developed insomnia, and I began cutting. My response to my pain was not healthy, nor was it rational, and I do not condone that in any way. At that time in my life, however, I had no other way to deal with it. Since then, I have had a very serious long-term relationship with my mental health. We've had our ups and downs, but ultimately, we've made it out okay. I've ruined relationships for fear of scaring people away, but I've also come to learn to be my true self with someone. When I finally did reach out for help, I initially regretted it. I saw a doctor because I'd been having migraines and I was unable to get rid of them. After talking, he prescribed me a very small dose of an antidepressant and told me I was stressed. I was getting married, I was a bride, obviously I'd be stressed. While I knew my wedding was not the problem, my doctor would not listen to me. He upped my antidepressant, told me to manage my stress better. Eventually, he begrudgingly prescribed me Xanax, but told me to never take them. He said they were addictive and I was only to take them for emergencies. This was a marked difference from when the same doctor prescribed my husband Xanax the year previously and told him to take them whenever he needed it. I was feeling incredibly helpless at this point, and even more, I felt let down by my doctor. Now, almost a year later, I can say I'm on the way to wellness. I'm not perfect, and I still have my bad days, but I no longer feel like I'm in the hole. I will never be better, whatever that means, but also knowing I have the power to share my emotions and feel what I am feeling is empowering. My experiences are unique to me, however, I know many who can relate. Mental illness, no matter how far we have come, is still a stigma. I love the billboards on 22, I am not my mental illness. But no matter how many times I repeat it, I know that is not necessarily true. I do not want to be looked at as my mental illness. I am kind, sarcastic, at times capricious, but overall a smart, strong, independent woman. That is who I am, and that is how I want to remain to be seen. In my experiences, I have learned the things I do not want to hear someone say. It will be fine, get over it, no need to get upset. Or my personal favorite, it is okay. I process things differently than my husband, and not because of my mental illness, but because he is typically more of a logical, at times impulsive man. I am very organized. I'm the type of person who will plan out a conversation before it even happens. It might not even happen, but I have it planned out. So when I'm upset and I hear no need to get upset, guess what? I'm upset. What I prefer to hear is, I'm here for you. I understand. I am sorry. Another thing I have learned, if you see something, say something. Had someone reached out in college, I might have been able to open up and ask for help. You never know who might be hurting, so practice empathy and always share simple kindnesses. You never know how far it's gonna go. I often use the same example when I used to coach my employees on good customer service. I had a woman who was incredibly rude. She kept walking away from me, despite the fact she reached out for my help. While I was trying to find her size, she received a phone call and immediately started crying. I found out her father was in surgery and had unfortunately passed away. I was silently cursing her while I was finding her size and chasing her around my store, when in fact I should have been compassionate. Over the summer, there was a story about a woman who emailed her boss saying she was going to take several days off for her mental health. Her boss commended her and thanked her for helping break down the stigma. This story should not have been news. This should be the norm. Mental health days are sick days. You need to take care of yourself the same way you would with the flu. Along with that, self-care is a buzzword, a hashtag, and sometimes even a joke to people. Despite this, you should not feel guilty making time for yourself. Life is hard. Our future looks bleak. We live in a constant, at times toxic news cycle, but we are surviving. When the opportunity for peace comes, embrace it. Garden, color, listen to an audiobook, watch Titanic for the 20th time, whatever you want. The fact is, if we do not take care of ourselves and our mental health, resisting is going to be that much harder. Michael Schlossberg, one of our local PA state representatives, has been very open about his experience with depression. He's even appeared at events to speak on the subject of mental health. Breaking down the stigma of mental illness will take time, and it will be hard. In order to normalize mental illness, however, we need to be able to share our truths and not feel shame. What Representative Schlossberg is doing is a great start. When a record number of women run for office and a sea of blue comes across this year in the elections, I hope to see more people owning their truth.